Well, I finally gave in and got the unlimited plan for my phone because it's my only source of goddamn entertainment. It's like $45 a month because you get 30 from the Obama phone program, which is less than I've ever paid for a phone, so I guess that's okay. It's not truly unlimited, so I'm not going to probably make that many videos. What was I going to make a video about? Oh yeah, Rick and Morty season 1. Maybe I'll get more lively as I drink this shit. Rick and Morty season 1 was fucking terrible. I give Rick and Morty a chance. Like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, Rick and Morty changed. Oh, it's terrible. They should go back to like it used to be in seasons 1 and 2. Me, I'm not like that. I don't even notice how things used to be. I just accept them as they are. But you know what I can't accept? How Poopy got his poop back. That's not worth an episode. Nobody cares about Mr. Poopy Butthole. Nobody, when I say nobody, I mean me, the important person. Nobody wants to see The Hangover Part 2 made with Rick Sanchez characters. Actually, maybe people do want to see that, but I don't care. I don't. It was just terrible. I actually paid $1.99 for it. I hate spending money, but there's a few things in life I like, and I like Rick and Morty, so I pay the $1.99, and I'm like, God damn, such regret. Another thing I bought, these are only two. I've only bought two things. This isn't like a habit of mine. I bought Innerspace. Now, this is a movie I saw when I was a kid, and you know what? It's a really good movie. I bought it, or I rented it, and you have like 2 days to watch it, and I watched it 3 times, and now I can't watch it anymore, and I even regret not buying it because you could buy it for $8.99, and I'm like, why would I buy it? Am I gonna watch it that much? It's a great movie. Plus the nostalgia value. You kids alive to now might not right now might not realize this, but back in the day, movies weren't always just made from established intellectual property that has a track record of success. Nowadays, that's all that a movie executive will sign off on. But back in the 80s, high concept was what it was all about. And inner space is what's known as high concept. It doesn't have to be science fiction, though. Like a depressed, suicidal, loose cannon cop paired with a by the books, boring cop who's just getting ready to retire. Also high concept. That's Lethal Weapon. You're never going to get any inner spaces made today because it's too much of an original idea. Actually, we might get inner space because they reboot everything, so we might get a reboot of that movie, but it'll suck because it'll be all fucking dark and gritty. The thing I liked about Inner Space is it wasn't dark and gritty. I mean, there were murders, there's espionage, but it was a fun movie. And when I say it's not dark and gritty, I mean literally there's more light coming off of the screen than there would be in a modern movie, and I like that. Oh yeah, to interrupt my movie review. The bad news is like I'm not trying to get help anymore. Like that place I was going, that medical center, like it just didn't seem like I was making any progress, and trying to get up early enough to go there and get to work, I just don't have the energy for that. And I kept saying that too. So I just can't. I can't get up to work early or get up early, do something, and then go to work. I don't have the energy for that, especially if it's something that seems futile, which is what that always did. So I guess there's no help for me, no hope for me. Maybe my new thing will just be renting old movies and watching them for the nostalgia value. Reminding me of a time in life when I didn't hate absolutely fucking everything. I remember when I first saw Star Trek Voyager and they initialized the Doctor. I said, hey, that's the cowboy. Because on Innerspace, there's a character called the Cowboy, played by Robert Picardo. Now, Robert Picardo, he's in a special category of actor. The same actor, this category that I would put Mitch Pileggi in. Now, Mitch Pileggi, he is a great actor as long as he's playing someone with a personality that is almost identical to that of Mitch Pileggi. As long as he's playing essentially Mitch Pileggi. Mitch Pileggi is awesome. I guess that's not really acting, though. Anyway, Robert Picardo is in this category. Usually it's bald men. I don't mean to be racist, but bald men usually aren't very good actors. There are exceptions, of course, but in general, they're not. So your Mitch Pileggi's and your Robert Picardos, what they do is they find their roles that are similar to their own personality. Now, the funny thing about this is the cowboy, that's not very similar to Robert Picardo's personality. So it was actually his greatest acting role because all of his subsequent roles are basically just Robert Picardo in different clothes. Where am I going with this? It just, fuck, man. Just shit I think about during my endless workday. Man, these things are nasty. I will tell you one difference about watching this movie as an adult. The very end, like Jack Putter, his doctor, is like, come into the office next week and I'll run a couple tests. And then this girl that he works with is like, maybe we should start dating. And then his boss is offering him his job back, and he turns down all of them. He's like, I, and turning down the girl, obviously a good choice. Turning down the doctor, probably a good choice because he seems like a hypochondriac. But turning down the job, it's like, listen, Jack, just because you've had an adventure, that doesn't mean that all of the shit that requires money will stop requiring money. I know this all too well. I've been on a number of adventures, and the constant thing is that no matter how many adventures you have, you always, always, always have to deal with the tedious fucking nonsense of having to buy things and needing money to do it. So as a really bad move. It's like, oh wow, you had an adventure, now you don't need a job. That's not how it works. I mean, on Innerspace they should be like 2 months later, and then show Jack like, ah, my bills. Fuck, why did I quit my job? Having an adventure doesn't give me money powers. That would be realistic. For those of you who haven't seen Innerspace, it's about a guy who's put into a pod and miniaturized, and he's supposed to be injected into a rabbit. But then the lab is getting robbed at that very moment the experiment is happening because they want to steal those chips that are needed for miniaturization. And so he gets injected into a dorky guy instead, sort of like a stand in for Jerry Lee Lewis. It's Martin Short, but he's doing his best Jerry Lee Lewis. Not Jerry Lee Lewis, Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis is the singer. Get a new name. You know what? It's fine. Well, it's just a great movie. And there's a character who's missing a hand that he can replace with any sort of item, like a hand that is also a gun. He shoots somebody with it. Somebody dies early in the movie getting shot by a gun that's a hand for a guy who's missing a hand. And his license plate says Snap On. I just miss the 1980s. Things didn't have to be dark and gritty. They could just be silly. It was nice. By the way, Dystronia, talking about how it's my own fault for pushing people away. Well, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, fuck you. Third of all, fuck you. Fuck you. Also, fuck you. And fuck you. Now, how do I push my family away? Like, my sister is currently mad at me for being mentally ill, even though that literally makes no sense. Now, my dad, he would rather go the rest of his life without talking to me than just admit that he was wrong. Now, it's not wrong about something where there's alternative points of view. The reason a kid gets good grades because when they get good grades, it's praised. That's operant conditioning. It's how all animals work. There's literally no other point of view to have. That is the correct one. Listen, if you'd rather deny reality than see your own son, that's on you. If you'd rather blame somebody for being mentally ill than help them, that's on you. Actually, my sister did try to help me. Except it wasn't really that helpful because, like, at the point when she's trying to get me mental help, I had more pressing issues. because like even if I get mental help, I still need a place to live and a job. So it's like this is the bottom of my priorities at the moment. But anyway, it's like even if that's wrong, well, I'm mentally ill. Like I don't get mad at mentally ill people. Actually, I view most people as being fairly mentally ill, and it helps me keep from getting mad at them. Oh, by the way, there was one really funny part of Rick and Morty, and that was when they tried to get Mr. Poofy Butthole to stop living with them. Rick's idea is the Robo Ghost, and he makes a robot, and there's a little cord in the front. And he says, "All right, now downloading the business." And then when it gets to 65%, he pulls the cord out. And the robot's like, "Ah!" And it says, "Unfinished business detected. Terminating." That shit is funny. Oh, that was the only good part of the episode, but it was laugh out loud funny. Robo Ghost with his unfinished business. By the way, a few things about Innerspace. This got me even as a kid. Okay, so at a certain point, Tuck Pendleton in his little pod, he changes the face of Jack Putter, the guy that he's been injected into. Changes it into a completely different face, the face of the cowboy. That even as a kid I thought, why does this guy, who is going to be injected into a rabbit, have all of the technology and programming necessary to change one human face into another, even if the experiment was to change one rabbit face into another. Humans have what's known as rabbit prosopagnosia. Literally cannot tell one rabbit face from another, so nobody would even know if it succeeded. And also, rabbit faces are very different from human faces. That just plain wouldn't work. Actually, it wouldn't work even on a human, but that's not the point. Let's just say that the technology exists to change one human face to another from a microscopic pod in that person's body. Well, I mean, it's not going to be the same system for rabbits and humans. It's just not. It's too different. Another thing, at the end of the movie Innerspace, Tuck Pendleton is wearing the microchips that are the MacGuffin for the entire movie as cufflinks on his sleeve. But he was just the test pilot. Why does the test pilot get to wear this super valuable science hardware as jewelry? I don't know. I mean, I know it was the 1980s, but I don't think that shit would be happening. Anyway, I guess I better get ready for work. That's why I've been drinking this. Another day. I just don't even know how I have the energy to get through any days. They all suck. Anyway, have a nice day.